Greetings, northern beekeepers. Coming at you today south of the Mason-Dixon line. Came down to Missouri, where I've brought like 20 hives and put them on my grandmother's farm for the winter. Gonna check them out today, see who survived, see who didn't make it, kind of see what we got going on. Did a little experiment this winter with my bees up in Wisconsin versus down in Missouri. I brought some down last winter. Had a pretty good success last winter. I have not touched these since October when I brought them down. They all had pretty good stores. There were probably 3 or 4 I figured would not make it. We'll kind of walk through the hives here and see who did or didn't do good. Hopefully all of them did. It's a big effort to bring them all down here. Had various Russian and Italian queens and a couple buckfast hives, so kind of make the transition here and see what's what. So here we are going through the hives. Those couple there obviously did not. We got a couple here. Looks good. I've got to get in these and kind of see how they're looking and clean out any of the dead outs. I'm sure some of these have been robbed. I've seen a few more that didn't make it. That one looks a little activity there. A couple more here did not. Kind of a few more. Now getting on these double 5x5 frame nukes. A lot of these are looking pretty good. A lot of activity there. We get a lot of pollen. I see a lot of pollen coming in. Obviously Missouri's 3 or 4 weeks ahead of Wisconsin. Weather's been pretty cold winter overall for Missouri, but as far as up north goes, it's quite tropical. And again, I got to get into all these hives and kind of clean them out. These ones on the end here, these are some buckfast that I bought from a local guy. He raised them in Florida. They were heavily infested with mites. They were pretty aggressive. More defensive, I guess, would be the correct terminology. Looks like they didn't make it. Not really surprised. I really was not very happy with those bees overall. They didn't really do much all year. Quality was pretty poor, so won't be doing that. I see a couple bees going in and out. I'm sure those are robbers. I am happy to see a lot of these double nukes made it. These are bees that I bred at my house, and they all look like they're doing really well. It's kind of funny just kind of looking at all the hives here. A lot of the bees I bred with the survivor stock from my home apiary, it looks like they did really well. And the ones that came from outside sources did not do so good. So that's definitely making me want to breed from the survivor stock and stop trying to bring in outside genetics, because those just don't survive Wisconsin. So let that be a lesson to everyone. If you have survivor bees, those are the ones you want to breed from. And that's the genetics you want to promote if you can get to that point. Obviously, if you're starting out fresh, it's a little bit tougher. You got to kind of bring in bees and buy them. But if you can get a hive or two to survive a winter, it's best to make splits off that, graft queens, whatever you can do to keep that going. So we'll start digging into some of these hives here and see what we get. Okay guys, welcome back. I went through all the hives. It looks like we got 12 survivors out of 25, so that's not that great, less than 50%. I do have 3 hives that need to get split like right away. One's a 16 framer double, and then I've got 2 of these 5/5 nukes that need split. So I guess overall, not a horrible winter, but definitely not what I was hoping for. Several of these 5/5s have you know, super small clusters. They may or may not make it. We'll see. Get them up to Wisconsin there, and you know, we got maple coming on for pollen, so they should be able to start doing pretty well there. But when I bring them home tomorrow, I'll have to split 3 of these right away because they're getting close. They are booming big time, especially now with the heat of the day. They're really going gangbusters. Kind of flip the camera around and show you kind of what we got going on. But you know, I kind of brought these down to Missouri thinking that the warmer winters would help with the survival. The last couple years in Wisconsin, I've had really poor survival rate as I kind of learned to beekeep in the cold climate. This year I think I got it figured out, so I don't plan on bringing any bees to the family farm here this winter. So we'll keep them up north. I can keep a better eye on them, get them supplemental feed, get them wrapped up, and see how they do. So with where we're sitting now, I'm looking at, you know, I think I got 19 hives so far that have survived the winter. Off of that, I'll be doing lots of splits here in the next month, 6 weeks, especially as we get warmer up north, and try to really split these hives way down. I don't know if I'm going to go quite down to a 2-frame, but definitely we'll be doing some 3-frame splits, especially with these here from Missouri. I'm going to have to just try to be pretty aggressive on the splits and see what I can get that comes out of it. When I dug into these hives, they are loaded with food. They're loaded with larvae, cat brood, eggs. I mean, they are ready to go. Staying down here, they'd probably be wanting to swarm here in a couple weeks if I didn't do something. So, you know, a couple of these, I think I'm going to be able to get kind of recover some of my losses here pretty quick. And you know, there's already drones in these hives, so you know, we're going to be looking pretty good coming out. So looking forward to that. Kind of going back here, this is the 16 frame. It's an 8 frame hive. It is just loaded with bees. I mean, by the time whatever capped hatches, they're going to be thinking about swarming. So get them up north where the weather's a little bit cooler. They'll probably back off a little bit, but we're gonna split this hive down pretty hard. So I'll probably leave maybe 4 frames there. If I do 4-frame splits, I'll get 3 more hives out of that. So that'll kind of take care of these over here that died. This one here, I had dropped it down to just a single box. There's really only about 3 frames of bees, so that cluster is pretty small. They did survive. There is a lot of feed left in there. There's probably a good 3.5, almost 4 frames of feed left, so they've got plenty, and they'll do just fine. Got some other bees kind of robbing out some of these hives. There's a lot of feed left on all of them, so I don't think any of them necessarily starved out. You know, could be moisture, could be other things. It's really hard to tell since I wasn't down here. But all of these, every single one of these 5/5s survived. Now, not all of them are doing that well. Some of them have a pretty small cluster. There is one where I don't think it's going to make it. I didn't see a queen. I didn't see any eggs. There's some old capped brood, but nothing's really going on in there. There's only like just a handful of bees. So I don't think that's going to make it. These 2 down here on the very end, these are my stars, I guess you could say. I mean, they're ready to split. All 10 frames are just loaded. They're packed with bees. I did see a couple queen cups, but you know, nothing's going on in the queen cup. So I'll split these down. Do 3-frame splits on these as well. So you know, out of the 10, I'll get another 3, get another 6 hives out of that. So that should just about fill up all the empty hives I have, and we'll be back to basically 32 hives once I do the splits tomorrow and get that going. So Get these loaded up tonight in the trailer, haul them up tomorrow, and then tomorrow afternoon we'll be in Wisconsin. All these are going to go on my out yard, and we'll see some more videos of that this summer. Got to get the weeds knocked down, get the bear fence set up because the bears are out. I have seen a few. Neighbors have seen a few, so get them set up, and the bee season has started, and learned a lot. We'll be learning a lot more this year. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.